The science of brain. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from the YouTube channel the game Theorists. I'm a huge fan of their work. I hope that you will enjoy this video. Blah 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 blah. What am I saying? Anyways, let's start. This video came out in the year 2017, so I think it's around 4 years ago.
Dear Platinum Games.
Hi Platinum Games.
Holy crap, are you living in my house? Have you overheard my inebriated rantings and ravings about how there aren't any games that combine perfectly crafted, nay, virtuosically
Come on.
fan service with compelling characters, consistent writing, and fun, Dark Soulsy gameplay?
Fan service? Come on man, come on.
Kotaro, get out of my closet! Even more irritating, this game was out a solid month before I wasted an entire week playing the piece of garbage BioWare pissed into a bucket before slapping a Mass Effect logo on it. To think, instead of spending that week grinding my own kneecaps off with a belt sander and repeating to myself, maybe if I just keep going, this will eventually become fun,
Wait, why will you do that?
I could have been zooming around a post-apocalyptic world as a Lolita goth android with a fetish for swords and stepping on 9S's little face. But I didn't come.
Ooh. That got dark fast. Wow, that escalated quickly.
I'm here to dunk on Mass Effect Andromeda. The internet as a whole is doing a pretty good job without me piling on more than I already have. Instead, today, I want to focus my laser beam science vision on this surprisingly successful game about lingerie models with the strength of Superman. I don't know what it is about games.
I love it, there's a lingerie models with the strength of Superman.
Games that combine bullet hell, creators with an encyclopedic knowledge of video game tropes, and incorporating saving and loading into their core plot structure, but damn if I don't definitely have a specific type of game that really gets me freaking pumped to play it. Nier Automata is like Undertale plus magical girls. Anyway, enough fawning, and let's pick this game about sexy androids apart and get to the science! And while unfortunately the science isn't goddamn terrifying this week, it is absolutely some of the coolest stuff I've ever looked into.
So it's not terrifying, but it is cool. Huh, interesting.
So, let's get to it, shall we? This is like the smallest spoiler on the planet, but saving your game in Nier Automata isn't a meta mechanic like it is in most other games that aren't Undertale. It's an in-game thing that you actually experience. Effectively, you're backing up your android brain. So, if you die, it's no biggie. You can just download yourself into a backup body with a fresh skirt and hairdo, good as new. And while this mechanic seems kind of arbitrary to look at, since the game made it clear that this is something important, I couldn't help myself. How possible would it be to back up your entire brain on a server somewhere? I mean, it's not even a ludicrous question to ask. Technology is getting exponentially more advanced.
Yeah, that's right. Probably brought to you by Moore's Law. Is it really possible to upload an entire into a software?
Even as I'm making this video right now. In fact, the information I'm gonna dump into your head like it's a download from the Matrix will be irrelevant in a couple of decades. You save your game by reaching access points and unlocking them, but it gets deeper than that. This isn't a wired upload. Once unlocked, you're not required to physically visit an access point like your grandpa's save points. Goodbye, Cloud Strife, heading toward that. You know, I never knew what this thing was supposed to be. A freaking, what are you? A question mark with a diamond? I just Anyway, no, once you unlock an access point, you can upload your personality when you're within a certain distance from it. Free Wi-Fi, son! This got me thinking.
I like it. It's like, yeah, free Wi-Fi.
Could you actually upload an entire human consciousness via Wi-Fi? I mean, could you do it at all? In order to figure this out, we're gonna have to do some cross-disciplinary work by combining computer science, neuroscience, and signal engineering.
Oh my god, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my god, they actually took the Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Oh my god, that is childhood, man. Yeah! So combine computer science with neuroscience with signal engineering. All is under machine physics and machine. The study of the principles and use of computers. Got two W's. Okay. Any or all of the sciences which deal with the structure or function of the nervous system and the brain. Okay. And then machine applying science to facilitate the conveyance of information about the behavior or attributes of some phenomenon. Okay, why is it that signal science is the one with the strongest attack, and then neuroscience is only 4 attack, and computer science is only 1 attack? Huh? Why?
So, hold on to your butts. It's science time.
It's something song. Yeah, it's Power Ranger reference again.
Where to start? Okay, that's the question. All right, let's start with something every human has used for good or ill every single day before we get to the thing that most of us in modern times use every day. The brain. How do you build a brain? I have no idea. I'm not a real scientist. I just play one on TV. But we don't have to know exactly how a brain works in order to know how one could be wirelessly uploaded. We just need to know how big it is. If you're a fan of film theory and you caught the video
Film theory
on Ghost in the Shell, you'll remember that they stipulated that the human brain is 2.5 petabytes. That's petabytes, Pat, not pentabytes. Pentabytes are how black metal bands measure their hard drive size.
Ooh, shots fired. Pat was wrong at pronouncing stuff. But still wrong.
It's not that I should be throwing stones. I totally messed up saying epidural last time.
Epidural.
Where was I? Oh, right. Petabytes. So you may know this 2.5 petabyte number, but where's it coming from exactly? What does it mean? Well, here's the 411. Our brains are made up of about 100 billion neurons.
It's around there,
And each one of those has roughly 1,000 connections to neurons around it.
It's around that number also too.
That's over 1 trillion freaking connections, you feel me? Now, when your brain does, well, like anything, these connections send electrical impulses to one another. Computers communicate in ones and zeros. That's called binary. Scientists at the Salk Institute, however, who have been spending years constructing a functioning model of a rat hippocampus, measured 26 different intensities of signals neurons can send, as opposed to just 2. Which, if you're thinking like a computer, means that our brains are coded in, 2 is binary, 26...
hexavigarsimal. What?
Is quinvigantary. When you add up all the bits and pop them into bytes, this gets you 2.5 petabytes. Now, there are some problems with thinking about the brain this way. As we'll explain later, while it is possible for digital systems to take advantage of analog signals to send digital signals, brains are entirely analog. They don't have bits, they have, well, okay, if I knew what they had instead of bits, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in a tropical country getting full-service massages from women that look like 2B every day. Point is, they're not digital medium. So trying to compare us is, well, gonna get messy.
Yes, that's right. If you try to compare these two, it's gonna get messy. That's definitely correct.
Problem the second is that if you could compare digital systems to our neurons in this way, knowing how many different signal strengths a neuron is capable of sending doesn't tell you jack shit if you don't know the encoding system. More on that later. That being said, we're just gonna take this 2.5 petabyte number that will totally and completely be out of date at any moment as new scientists discover more things. Plus, the people at Salk are smarter than I am. So, we need to know this because we need to have some estimate of the size of a brain so we know how to transmit it. Now, if you want 2.5 petabytes for yourself in 2017, I hope you have the best credit card in the world.
He mentioned that in 2017, so that means it's freaking expensive back then. Even in 2021, let us say that the price did not drop that much, but still it's much more affordable in 2021 to afford 2.5 petabytes than compared to 2017, which is 4 years ago. Anyways, let's continue. Fun fact. Because of Moore's law.
It'd take over 9,000 micro SD cards crammed into a box weighing almost 5 kilograms or over 10 pounds and would cost over $1.5 million. Why micro SDs? Because otherwise you're looking at a stack of 2,500 terabyte hard drives. They take up their own friggin' bookcase and weigh God knows how much. And it still costs a buttload. So yeah, that thing between your ears is kind of expensive. It takes 8 bits to make a byte, which means that we've got 20 petabits in our 2.5 petabytes, or over 20 quadrillion bits to take care of. We only have limited time here before Ronnie starts to get fatal carpal tunnel syndrome, so...
Ronnie! Aww. Ronnie, miss you.
I'm sorry, neuroscience geeks, it's here that we have to stop talking about the brain and move on to— Austin, what about the hierarchical pattern recognition theory of— Shut up! There's no time! Get back in the comment section where you belong. We gotta talk about signals!
I really like it. I really say that. We gotta talk about signals!
How is information sent wirelessly? Photons, baby. You know, light.
Speed of light.
Well, sorta. It's not light if you think of light being only what we can see. Light comes in all shapes and sizes though, from barely measurable waves and a wavelength of over 100,000 kilometers and a frequency of 3 hertz, all the way up to incredibly energetic and incredibly deadly, very high energy gamma rays with frequencies in the tens of octillions of hertz and wavelengths as tiny as the radius of neutrinos. All of these things are essentially the same thing. The only difference? Their energy. The more energy, the higher the frequency, and generally speaking, the smaller the wavelength. The relationship between wavelengths, frequency, energy, and power are complicated.
That's, let's say that it's complicated. That is correct.
For the most part, higher frequencies means more energy, but there are ways to inject higher amplitudes without manipulating the frequency. A perfect example of this is microwave ovens. Most microwave ovens actually operate at the exact same frequency as wireless routers, but you can't explode an egg with your router. Light, gamma radiation, radio waves, they're all the same thing. Electromagnetic radiation with different levels of energy.
With different levels of energy. That is important to understand. We normally just don't know what we don't know about it, and we just make assumptions about them.
They are weaves of synchronized electric and magnetic fields that are measured in hertz, which means cycles per second. Every time a light wave completes a cycle, that is, moving from crest to crest, that's one cycle in the hertz. Electromagnetic radiation that we can see with our eyes cycles between 430 to 750 terahertz.
Terahertz. That's very... outstanding.
Meaning visible light waves cycle over 430 to 750 trillion times a second. So how do you send information with electromagnetic radiation?
Good question.
Well, the best examples are AM and FM radio waves. AM stands for amplitude modulation, and it's used to send sound to people across miles. This is done by modulating the amplitude of the electromagnetic wave. This can then be read as a sound wave by your car or radio's antenna. FM, or frequency modulation, works similarly, but instead of changing up the amplitude of the wave, it changes the frequency. These waves can transmit sound to your radio receiver, and it's freaking awesome!
So you can like to simply understand is you can change amplitudes, you can change the frequency, you can change how high or how low it can get, and you can change how much cycle it can. To basically explain it, you need to understand it in engineering class.
Of course, these are analog signals and they're prone to interference, which you hear as static. Your phone, your computer, and everything else that exists that runs off of computers needs data to be perfect, or the whole system could come crashing down. And it's here that the power of electromagnetic radiation's ability to travel vast distances unimpeded is married with modern computing to send digital signals. Digital just means it's operating with ones or zeros, on or off.
Oh, fun fact. There's a joke in which there are only 10 people. There are only 10 different types of people who understand binary. Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? Even though it's 10 is 1 and 0, so there's only 1 and 0. There's only oh, sorry. There's only no. I'm sorry, there's only 2 types of people who understand binaries. Answer 10. Get it? Because the answer is 1 and 0. Get it?
Makes it really easy to tell when, say, a high amplitude wave with a lot of interference is a 1 and a low amplitude wave with a lot of interference is a 0. As you may have guessed it, since each cycle of a wave carries information, not usually just a 1 or a 0. Really smart people have spent decades maximizing the efficiency of the analog nature of electromagnetic waves to send batches of code, but the principle remains true. Each cycle equals one small chunk of information. This means it stands to reason the higher frequency of light you use, the more information you can send, right? Totally! But there are limitations. For one, the higher frequency of electromagnetism you use, the more it attenuates or dissipates in the atmosphere. I mean, AM radio, which is measured in kilohertz or thousands of cycles per second, can travel tens, sometimes over hundreds of miles. But
yes, tens or something, even hundreds of miles. But having said that, there is still a limited amount of range. Huh. Interesting.
my wireless router, which is measured in gigahertz, has trouble when I'm in my bedroom. And it's not even that far away, but it is past a wall. And higher frequencies are terrible at penetrating walls. Fiber optics use visible light to transmit information, but they have to lock the light away from everything else in cables where there's no interference. So sending more information wirelessly to the point where you're uploading an entire 2.5 petabytes of a brain in Nier isn't as simple as turning your frequencies up as high as they'll go.
Of course it's not easy. It's literally a higher level engineering science. Yeah.
Taking all of this, we can finally figure out how saving works in Nier Automata. I don't want to base my numbers off of how long it takes for me to save in an actual game, since that can vary from computer to computer and from console to console. Thankfully, there's actually a segment in the game where you upload your personality in an actual arbitrary time frame. It's a bit spoilery, so I won't show you the actual spot, but all 2.5 petabytes of sweet Android brain is uploaded in 32.64 seconds, which gives us an upload speed of over 612 terabits per second. How fast is that? Approximately 3 billion% faster than my upload speed of 20-ish megabits per second. And that's wired! You could upload the entire iTunes music library in 5 frickin' seconds at these speeds.
What? Okay. No, that this is back in 2017, so in 2021 there'll be more things to upload. But still, 5 seconds is incredible. I mean, like, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Wow.
This is freaking fast, but extraordinarily, it's not possible, especially 9,000 years in the future. Scientists at the University College of London sent data at 1.125 terabits per second. Sure, this is 0.16% of the speed of our Nier network, and it was over fiber optics, but this is something that happened last year. 5G broadband is looking to take advantage of the faster transmission speeds of higher frequencies of electromagnetic waves by completely changing network structures. Instead of using one giant tower to service multiple devices, they're planning on putting several smaller towers that broadcast to smaller areas. Using a combination of beamforming and friggin' smart transmitters that can actually bounce wireless signals off of reflective surfaces dynamically to reach devices, phone service providers are looking to get us internet on our phones. It's way faster than what we have now. And the access...
It'll be extremely good. Like, seriously, that'll be awesome. Don't you think so? It's like I remember that back then it was like 3G, then 4G. Yeah. Back in 2017, there's still 5G was still not publicly available yet. I still remember. Right, yeah. So after 5G, there'll be 6G, 7G, 8G. Like, to the point which is extremely portable. Like, although there'll be some inconvenience, but maybe I can be injured in the mountains and I brought to a clinic maybe, and a high-level surgeon from overseas can do my operation via the machines that is being connected by the 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, that kind of technology. Wouldn't that be great? Like, you can save a lot of lives with this kind of experiment.
Points of Nier Automata seem to be acting almost exactly like this. Using a combination of 2B's cannon height of 1.68 meters and her run speed, most access points have a radius of 250-ish meters, and a lot of them are blocked by tall buildings and won't work. And sometimes they do. Technology, am I right? You know,
Moore's Law! Yeah! Thumbs up for that. Oh gosh.
Started researching this video, convinced that it would be absolutely absurd trying to broadcast the contents of a human brain over airwaves. But honestly, it's possible that speeds like this will exist in my lifetime. Between orthogonal frequency division multiplexing that can send huge...
What? Wait. What's the title again? I'm so sorry.
Speeds like this will exist in my lifetime. Between
orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. That is really cheap. Oh gosh, that is very complicated. Oh, my head.
Orthogonal frequency division multiplexing that can send huge batches of information with overlapping waves, multiple input, multiple output, and beamforming. It's kind of amazing that in what is essentially a post-apocalyptic world without a lot of radio interference, they're not able to get faster speeds than this. Although, considering they're capable of sending this information to satellites in geostationary orbit above the Earth before beaming that information down to the bunker in orbit 7,000 kilometers above Earth, maybe I'm being too critical of 1000G broadband. I just hope that they don't figure out that we used to call our phones androids.
Like, I think he mentioned like this is 9,000 years in the future, so you know.
Although I admit I do wish that my Pixel XL had an ass like 2B's. Sincerely, Austin.
Sincerely.
Thank you everyone for watching my video on Nier Automata. This video, like, there's a lot of information I didn't include in here, like how I figured out the orbital height of the bunker, which I did using the window and its roundness and the visibility of the thing. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but the point is, it's very educational, and I thank you so much for making this video so, knowledgeable about it, and thank you so much.
I did it. It wasn't relevant, but I figured it out anyway. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the Game Theorists. Follow me on Twitter at ARHorrigan, and let me know any games that you want to know the science of. Don't ask me to do Warframe. I'm not going to do Warframe. You can suck it. Never going to do Warframe. You can't make me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Let's just be honest, the fighting mechanics is awesome. The action mechanics is awesome. Woo, that's incredible. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you like this video as much as I do. The video that I just reacted to came from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists, and yeah, I'm pretty sure appreciation and support for their work. And if you do like my videos, please consider to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, yeah, something like that. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. And yes, I know this is the science of, but I just like to say, but hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.